I
I
can
was
hear you
telling
fine.
people, can you hear me? Okay. I was just telling people how powerful you are, and all your podcasts, you always bring the right temperament, the right frequency into your space. And it's also something that's been practiced because you knew that and
That's
you
correct.
made it a priority in your life. So without further ado, let me just let
Hello.
people are like, yay. Uh, tell people a little bit about yourself. Tell people a little bit about your background, and then what you're up
Hi,
to and
everyone.
what you're
So my
going
name is
through.
Marsara. I'm originally from Bosnia. Um, I came here when I was little. English was a second language. I came up from a background where there was a war in my family, and we lost. Yeah, dobro, kako si?
Kako si?
Yes, so we lost everything we had. We had to start from the beginning. It was tough, because I was always the achiever, and so I graduated before time, and I started experiencing a lot of problems and depression and different things that was going on in my life. And my grandfather passed away. And at that moment, I was going through a really bad depression. And that's how my journey became. It began on self-development journey, spiritual journey. It was very emotional because at that time I was lost. I didn't know what to do. And imagine losing somebody you love so much and then not being able to see him anymore. And then I felt really depressed. And in the process of being depressed, I started working on myself. I started searching for the answers. I wanted to know, why would God take a life away? And I was sad. And so I started searching. And one night I came across a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And inside that book, I just something intriguing inside the book. As I started reading, the information just started connecting the dots. And after I started reading, I started working on myself. I started understanding that my thoughts were so powerful and that everything that I was experiencing in my life, I was creating it with my thinking. And so I started searching more. I started reading more books. I started investing in myself and different coaches to just remove the depression, because so many people are experiencing depression, anger, anxiety, low self-esteem, and the list goes on. And then I read a passage in the book by Napoleon Hill. The penalty we must pay if we neglect this information is we get to live a life full of happiness or joy, or we get to live a life full of misery and unhappiness. And for me, I felt really sad because my grandfather was my hero as a person who I loved so much. And during the wartime, when everything was burned and the mothers couldn't carry their children no longer, my grandfather saved my life. And so I started being on that journey where I wanted to help people. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a change. And I started becoming a self-motivational, self-love coach. And from there, it was amazing. It was amazing because I had a dream. And one night, I just decided I was going to continue my grandfather's legacy. He was born as an orphan. He married my grandmother, who was an orphan. But during the wartime, he fed so many children. He would go out of his way to bring food to the children. And I said, I want to be like him. I want to be an example. I want to be the change. And so I started working on myself, working on my self-image, learning more, educating myself more, understanding how the mind works, understanding how the mind operates. And then I started on the self-development journey. And it was hard, everybody thinks it's so easy. It's, achieving success. It's emotional roller coaster. It's so painful. And so I started doing that. And the more I started learning, the more I started understanding my mind. And I started implementing new directions and taking new risks. And one thing I want to share with people is facing fears. It's so important to face your fears. And so I started with facing my fears, stepping out of my comfort zone, doing videos, meeting with people, going to different events. And actually by now I'm invited to speak on March 17 and 18 at Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, where I manifested a huge dream of mine. Yeah, it was a